So that's my new belt sander right there. Y'all might remember, those of y'all that have been paying attention for that long, I had a great old big belt sander, about as tall as this table, big long, belt, and I used it a goodly bit making banjos and stuff. But when I moved down here, that thing probably weighed a couple 100 pounds, and I was really limited on how many trips I want to make down here, especially after the big floods. So I just decided to sell that to somebody who deserved a good one, and I found a guy that did and sold it to him. And then I figured I'd buy me a lesser expensive one, or at least buy me another one down here. Well, I did that, and I bought this one. Now this was not very expensive. This is a Harbor Freight, $119. I think it's normally $139. They marked it down for the holiday. It's not very big, but I read the online descriptions that people had put up, and somebody described that it was powerful and that it wasn't easy you couldn't stop the belt from moving, and that's what I want, because see, you put a piece of wood on here, it needs to have enough power to grind and not stop, and some inexpensive attachments that I bought before in the past are not strong, and they will lock up on you. So anyway, I got this. I was gonna just quickly pull it out and run it and put a piece of wood on it, grind it a little bit, and see how powerful it is. I still am, if I can find all the pieces and parts, and also if I can determine how to, there's got to be a way to raise up this part here. There's got to be a way. So now I'm forced to reading the instructions. Safety with safety key, switch, alternator belt, sanding belt, fence, belt tension lever, sanding disc, work table lock knob, miter gauge, work table. Still don't see anything about raising that thing. Here it is here. Belt support, assembly locking screw. So it looks like it's got a locking screw right here, right there. So that's why that Allen wrench is in there. Oh, imagine that. The reason I want to raise it up is because there's something up under there. I don't want to start running it while something's up under there. So let's just loosen this up. Oh yeah, look at that. That's fine. That's just a piece of something to keep it from rattling around inside the box. Pretty heavy looking construction there. There's also a little stop. Sometimes when you sand something, you need a little stop so to keep it from yanking it out of your hands. Looks like this is the stop right here. So we just stick that on there too. And I'm going to grab a piece of wood, preferably something hard piece of wood. If I can find one, and just run it a little and see if it holds. The other thing I got new here is this Ryobi 10-inch table saw with a folding stand. Honey Baby bought me that for Christmas, and I'm going to get it out, but I'm not going to do that today. Been a kind of interesting day. It's been a little foggy out, and I've had some other things I've been wanting to do. I got some things I want to do, like I want to get together my tax paperwork and some stuff like that. And on some of these, it's actually pretty warm today, but on some of these foggy days, rainy days or something like that, it's a good time to do tax paperwork. That's what I'm going to do anyway. So my larynx plug in? There's one right there, look at that. Boy, did I engineer this place snap or what? So, we'll just plug this in right here. Right here. And then, there's a switch over here. There's an adjustment out here to adjust that belt so it won't run off. Motor sounds good. That's one of the things somebody wrote, that the belt stayed on this pretty well. Sometimes it's tricky to keep the belt from running off the machine. And there was a cheaper one that they had, believe it or not, about $89. But they said two things I didn't like. One was it was not as easy to keep the belt on as this one, and the other was that it didn't have as much power. It didn't have a lot of power. Now I need to find me a little piece of wood that I can sacrifice here. Let's see if I can find something laying around that I can sand it on. A piece of Coca-Cola there, but I don't want to use that up. This is pretty soft here. I might have a piece of 2x4. Here's one. That's not too bad. So let's just put that on there and grind her and put some weight on her. What did that tell me? Well, I can, it doesn't have so much power that I can keep it from stopping. But I can do a good bit of grinding. Before I get to the stopping point, I might decide I want a better one or a bigger one. They did have another one that was bigger. But this might be enough to get me by. You know, the kind of thing you'd use this for. Well, I tell you, I'm going to be making a banjo for a young lady. Her husband's named Joe, and her name is Rosa Hopkins. They're musicians. They do some gospel music. She's a writer and maybe a little bit of a preacher and different things like that. I told her I'd make her a banjo. In order to make her a banjo, I need to take a 4-string neck and make it into a 5-string neck. In order to do that, I'm going to have to do some grinding on a piece of hardwood to shape the fifth string shelf. So that'll probably get me through to do that. I guess for what I paid for it, if I turn out not to be happy with this later on when I'm more heavily endowed with cash, I could go back and buy a bigger one, or I might find one of them good old ones. See, the nice thing about this one is it's smallish. I'm kind of moving towards smaller things, because see, I could take this, stick it down underneath the table here when I'm not using it, whereas if I got one of those big ones on a stand, it's going to use up all my room somewhere. It'll take up as much room as a Chevy engine or something like that. So if I can do what I want to do with just this, then we can call it good. I'm gonna stick my little wrench back over here in this bolt. Just leave it there so I know where to find it later. Right there. And I guess I'll walk away. I could do a open the box on this table saw, but I don't know if I will or not. We might let that go. We might just call that good. So this is a Bauer 4-inch by 36-inch belt, 6-inch disc sander. Yeah, probably like everything that you get from Harbor Freight is probably made by the Chinese. But that's, you know, it's okay. I don't hold it against them. I know that they got some issues with their government, but they can't. You know, the average Chinese person can't help that. They don't have any They're not like us. We get to go vote. We can throw out politicians we don't like over there. Over there, they ain't got no choice. They just have to take what they get because nobody asks them what they want. Yeah, nobody has to live up to their promises over there because they don't. But you know, for a little small grinder, that might be okay. We'll know. We'll let you know. Holy cow! I had to sneeze. Mercy sakes, great balls of fire. Yeah, I got more cleaning up to do down here too, that's for sure. But you know, we'll get to it. There'll come a day. There'll come a day where it'll be just right to do this kind of thing, and then that's what I'll do. I'll do this kind of thing. Alrighty. If you got any questions or complaints or comments, well, you can write me the comments. If you got any complaints, send them out to, let's see, who can we send them to? Who needs some complaints? Who can I get to handle my complaints this week? Luke Palioka. Send them to Luke Palioka, alias Lead Sled Arts. He's on YouTube. Just put your complaints in a wooden box. Make sure to use some good maple hardwood and attach the corners with some real nice woodworking skills. And then fill it up for packing. Use $100 bills to fill it up, and then mail it to Luke Palioka up on a great big mountain. That's his address. He lives up at the foot of a great big mountain, so his address is Luke Palioka up at the great big mountain in Maine. Probably frozen to the ground by now. He'd be happy to handle ever complaint about anything you want, because he'd be happy to handle your complaints. That's what I say. All right. Let's go back up to the house, see what's happening up there. Yeehaw!